We're turning now to our breaking news this morning. The death of former Vice President Dick Cheney, the longtime Republican, earned the wrath of President Trump when he appeared in this ad.
In our nation's 246-year history, there has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump. He tried to steal the last election using lies and violence to keep himself in power after the voters had rejected him.
Cheney's daughter, Liz Cheney, was among the few Republicans who voted in favor of Trump's second impeachment. And in a stunning twist, Dick Cheney said he was voting for Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris. Joining me now to discuss the life and legacy of Dick Cheney is political analyst Michael Fauntroy. Michael, good morning. As always, great to have you with us. So it is worth noting that we have not yet heard from President Trump on the passing of U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney. But let's begin with your thoughts on Cheney's impact on American politics and the vice presidency overall.
Well, first, let me just say his impact is long and broad. He took his first job in the federal government in 1969, and by the age of 34, in 1974, he was the chief of staff to a United States president. And from that point on, he held so many significant positions throughout a number of Republican administrations. And so his legacy is one of length and breadth and significant influence. Trust, I think, is a key word. Presidents don't bring people over from previous administrations without trust, without significant experience. So for good and ill, and there's certainly some reasons for critiques with regard to former Vice President Cheney, it's very clear that, to be fair, you have to acknowledge a level of competence, understanding, commitment, and success throughout his public career.
Yeah, serving under 3 presidents. And he was part of that old Republican guard, and as such, he was a vocal critic of Donald Trump. What do you make of his influence with the Republican Party? Is that part of the party now gone?
The Republican Party that he was sort of raised in and cut his teeth in politically no longer exists, Marcia. And it is a real conundrum for those of us who study American politics to see how far the party has shifted from the right. Shifted to the right. Dick Cheney could not get elected to Congress right now from Wyoming, the same state he represented in Congress more than 40 years ago. And it's just a reflection of the way things have changed. So yes, he is somebody who, at the end of his life, remained where he was in terms of ideology and such, but the party shifted around him, and as a result, he found himself sort of out of the Republican mainstream.
And yet you think back not too long ago as he pushed for the invasion of Iraq, he supported the war in Afghanistan, the support and the power, Michael, that Dick Cheney had.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that, because he benefited in some respects by being the vice president to a president who did not have D.C. experience. When George W. Bush became the president, coming from Texas, he'd never held any other office other than being governor of Texas, and as a consequence, didn't know all the nooks and crannies on how things worked in D.C., and Dick Cheney did, and because of that, Bush leaned on him in ways that other presidents had not previously done. And as a result, he was able to exert some influence and power that we'd never seen from vice presidents. And his predecessor, Al Gore, had extended it. And you can go back to Walter Mondale in the 1970s when the vice presidency became a much more substantive role in American government.
Yeah, and if anyone wants a reminder of that, Michael, they can watch that movie, Vice, right?
Yes, well, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is the best, isn't she?
Well, I'm thinking of the movie.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Michael, great to have you with us, as always. Political analyst Michael Fauntroy, you take care. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more news on the other side.